If you're just joining us on this series, in part one, we covered this. Why was the GTA becoming so unaffordable for those that are living there? And what can you do about it? They need to do it someplace where they can have a hope, have future. If they can't afford something, they're gonna leave. And this is exactly what we are feeling here locally in Calgary. I want to introduce you to two new individuals. The first one is Kyle. Kyle is a resident in Mississauga for the last 5 years who is currently renting a basement suite that is only around 300 square feet for a shocking $700 a month. Secondly, I want to introduce you to Emily. Emily is a wife, a mother of four kids, all living, 6 of them, living in a condo, a 900 square foot, 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo in the GTA. These two individuals are a fantastic representation of homeowners and renters that are feeling frustrated in the GTA in Vancouver.
Really only thought of moving within the last maybe year or so.
Okay.
And obviously the market hasn't been the greatest, so that's kind of what has slowed down our progress in moving forward.
In terms of the value you're getting, or?
I mean, there was a point where the value was good.
Yeah.
But now, just with the interest rates, it's not looking promising for us, right?
Okay. In what way?
Just affordability.
Okay. In purchasing here.
In purchasing here,
Okay.
in Ontario, yeah.
Okay.
So I've been looking
Yeah.
the last year, and we've been looking maybe in Oakville, Burlington area.
Okay. I now know where those are.
You do know?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
okay. And no, they're wonderful areas.
They
It's
are.
really close to work.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I'm gonna look out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have a family member who is currently in that position where they're looking to buy something for themselves. But again, everything is kind of out of reach here.
Yeah. But like, do you feel frustrated with the situation that you're in, and maybe you see your friends, cousins, relatives in as
A
well?
little bit for sure. Like and I know a lot of people that are feeling the struggle and the frustration.
Yeah.
And I feel like some of them are just trying to be optimistic about the situation, hopefully, and just waiting it out.
Yeah.
And hopefully that maybe rates will go down, prices will go down for them, and then they can finally get their chance.
Do you think it will change? Like, will prices come down? Will interest rates go down?
I mean, hopefully, but if somebody knew the answers, they'd be rich, right? Like,
Well, there are many that are. That's the crazy part. Because, I mean, we're sitting in a high inflation situation
yeah.
because of the last couple of years, which is causing interest rates to go back up.
Yeah.
But historically, they're not high.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the crazy part, because if you look over the last 25, 30 years, I mean, the average is around that 5%.
Mm-hmm.
So it isn't that crazy, which is weird for me to say. And now I sound old. My first house was a 7.5%.
Yeah.
Like, I remember parents having 18% back in the 80s,
Yeah.
right? And so if you end up having all of these different forces pushing interest rates and prices and all this kind of stuff, I think what it does is it causes confusion for
For a lot of people, for sure.
Right?
I think so too.
And we can easily look forward with hope and hoping that the future is going to be better, but we don't really know.
Exactly.
And that can itself be kind of frustrating too, I
Of
think.
course. And all those would lead to not making the decision or
Yeah.
looking into it.
And that's the thing is, when I think a consumer is confused, they just say no.
Exactly.
And you say, I'm just going to wait. And I think that's what's happening in the market.
Oh, most definitely.
But is saying no and stopping and just kind of accepting what is the best thing to do? I don't know if it is. It might be, and it might be for you. But maybe you just haven't seen the other side. Maybe you haven't tried to figure out what else is out there. And so prices have softened in the GTA. That is true, and same in Vancouver, but it's still not enough to make up this massive gap of the affordability of the problem that's there. Spending $700 a month in rent can go a lot further here in Calgary than it can in Mississauga, Toronto, Vancouver, whatever it is. Even if you don't have your down payment saved and you're not able to buy a house yet, if you were to make a move, stretch your money out further while you're renting, it is going to shave off over 15 years, according to this report by Generation Squeeze that just came out. So even if you were to make a move to Calgary and you didn't have your down payment saved up, and let's say you rented something and it's the same price, that money is gonna go further. You're gonna have more space, but you're also gonna shave off over 15 years of time in saving for your down payment just simply by living in a different location. This recent report by Generation Squeeze, it says that it is taking over 25 years for someone to save up the 20% down payment in BC or Ontario, where it's taking under 10 years to do the same here in Alberta. I don't know about you. Whenever I walk up to a wall and I'm feeling like it's something daunting, it's intense, and I don't know what to do, the thing that I always say to myself is this: there is always a window. It doesn't matter how big the wall is, I have to find the window. So I gotta look for that window and find it and open it and start figuring it out. Because sometimes the wall is so big you can't go under it, you can't go around it, you can't go over it. This is like a kid's song actually, isn't it? You can't go through it. But if the wall is so big, you have to find that window. And moving to Alberta and Calgary might be that window for you. In my opinion, hope is one of the strongest emotions that someone can feel. So if that's the case, being hopeless is the opposite. And feeling hopeless in trying to figure out where you're gonna go and where you're gonna have your family live can be devastating.
The hardest part for them right now to move out there is they have family. Same exact reason. But they felt the hit with, the high interest rates and having to pay so much for their mortgage. Their mortgage has gone up by $600,000, something like that. So
sorry, say that again.
their mortgage has gone, sorry, not $600,000, $600 every month.
A month, okay.
A month,
So
yeah,
they're
sorry.
on variable and it's bumped up or
Exactly.
something. Okay.
Yeah, so came unexpectedly. So now they're working.
And they probably were already at the top of what they were wanting to do
most likely.
anyways because of price ranges.
Exactly. So she said to me, okay, you go move out there. We'll see how you're living, and then we'll think about it. So her plan was to come and visit me March break.
Yeah.
And just to see, because we're going to be out there, right, by March.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I do want to be mortgage free. But right now, we're paying a mortgage. It's going to be hard for us to leave the family. And just to be out there is just going to be challenging for us. So I think what it really comes down to is what you want in life, right? Like for me, I prioritize my family, my kids, everyone's well-being.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it will be so much better for us out there, right? Everyone's so used to paying a mortgage, but why? You have the option to be mortgage free, right? You just have to make these sacrifices. And again, it comes down to what you value most in life.
Yeah.
Right?
Being mortgage free that Emily talks about is a goal that many, many Canadians have. And I don't blame them. The thing is paying your mortgage for many is like the biggest cost that they have every month. So if you are living in Toronto or Vancouver and you own something already, you might just have to transfer that equity and get closer to that opportunity, that chance of owning something free and clear. In a recent RBC study that was released, the Affordability Index for Vancouver, Toronto, and Calgary came out. And Vancouver is now sitting over 90% of the typical income, the average income has to go towards the average cost of running your house. And in Toronto, it's actually 83%. That is 83 and 90% of your income going to just living in your house. Calgary, 38%. That is a massive difference. You can save money. You can live your life. You can go to a coffee shop and not feel guilty about it because you have that cash in your wallet and you can spend it in local businesses and support an economy. Where right now you might feel like, I can't do anything. I have to be stuck. I don't know what to do. So I just have to try to survive. And that's not a good place to be. So we are seeing that there are many individuals from the GTA and Vancouver who have seen prices rise rapidly over the last 2-3 years and even over the last decade, right? And so they're looking at it going, well, I need more space. I need things to figure out. And they just can't do it where they're living. Many of the people who are needing to make the change and wanting to move, they have the equity and they have what they need, right? They have parents that have the mom and dad bank, that have the down payments, and they can do that. And because of these gifted down payments, they can possibly stay. But
well, that's like where Calgary really gets to give people the opportunity to fulfill this fetishization of homeownership that we have in Canada.
For sure.
To be honest with you, like, I mean, it's like, do you want to live in Toronto and be part of the world-class city that it's becoming, or do you want the Canadian dream of homeownership? And I think that it seems to be kind of split down the center of what people want. I think like the reason a lot of people might choose to remain in Toronto is if there's really good career opportunities for them here, and there's a reason for them to be close to Bay Street or close to the financial district or in the financial heart of Canada. But a lot of people are becoming less and less dependent on that, or maybe they've passed the point in their career where they need that. And so it does make sense for them to say, yeah, well, the workplace is relatively decentralized and I can go get a job at a better company, or maybe take a little bit of a hit on wage, or sacrifice some of that upward mobility that I have in my career. Or they're just capitulating. They're saying, you know what, I was sold a lie and I'm not going to be a 7-figure plus CEO, and I'm going to go and live somewhere where I can afford to, right?
Totally.
And so there's a number of different reasons that people would choose to do it. And I think that our generation, like millennials for the most part, are really just getting to that point in our life cycle. We have to remember that millennials are still eventually going to feel this biological urge to want to have kids, maybe, or maybe not. But eventually we're going to want more from our lives than just like going out on King Street West and, throwing up in the middle of the street and then going to work the next day, right? Like, and now we're getting to that point in our lives.
I've had tons of friends in the last year, 1 to 3 years, that have moved to Alberta and to the East Coast. Literally have moved there, bought a house, and have kind of settled down. And the rest of our friends here that are still renting are kind of like, do I go there or what? So I think it really it's situational, but I mean, a lot of people don't have parents that can dish out $200,000. So
it is going to happen, and I think what's happening in Ontario and in Vancouver or BC has to bleed into the rest of Canada in some way, shape, or form, and it will.
Yeah.
I think that Calgary is going to remain the way it is for the next bunch of years. I don't want to say it's naive, but I really don't think that it can avoid change, because people here, a lot of people here want to find that affordability again and that balance in life. And I think that can be found in Alberta, right? And I believe they're going to start slowly moving over.
And many of these people that are moving to Alberta, it's specifically Calgary, because Edmonton isn't feeling the same draw that we are here in Calgary. In 2022, our team has helped over 100 people make a change from out of town to this city that we live in. And that is staggering. That is a lot of people. And I know there's way more that have moved here, but we have been able to help that many people make a change in 2022. And I know that there are going to be many, many more that are going to be making this change in the coming years. That's plural, years ahead. Gino is right. Change is inevitable. We are going to see it here, but what is it that others are seeing in Calgary that is creating this urge, this pull to uproot their lives and make the pilgrimage to our incredible city?
My cousin, Justin, reached out to me. He just sent me a listing, and it was of this one property in Calgary, located right next to a school. And I thought, this is pretty enticing. My kids could just walk to school. I don't even need to drop them off. And that kind of just took me down the rabbit hole. And ever since then, I've just been, exploring different options and moving out there. Looking back 6 years ago, I never would have thought that we could.
No.
Yeah, that we would have had X amount.
Yeah, because how much was the condo, or that rough price range of what you purchased the condo for?
Yeah, so it was just about under 300,000.
Yeah, and that's like not even heard of today.
Yeah, I know. the fact that you build around nature. So nature comes first, and I love that. And that feels very aligned with what we want for our family.
Yeah. So why would you guys ever consider leaving here if it's so good?
The kids. You know, Justin has moved to Calgary.
Yeah.
So, and Christopher is thinking of moving to Calgary as well.
Okay.
And we said, you know what, we can't afford to help you in the GTA.
So why?
You're going to have to rent because it's just too expensive. Even renting is, you know, for you to save money, like it's going to take you 25 years.
So what was the decision? So for him moving to Calgary, why was that a good thing for you guys?
Well, because as Catherine was saying, we can help them, you know, with a down payment on a property out there,
right,
which is far less expensive than a property here.
Yeah.
And it's something that they can handle, which would actually cost them probably less to handle a mortgage than it would to handle their rent right now.
So because Jeff and Catherine helped their sons buy in an area for them that is much more affordable, which is here in Calgary, this was a twist that I wasn't fully expecting. Now what is happening is these individuals, these parents, the bank of mom and dad, the mom and dad bank, they also are going to be making a change, uprooting their lives because they want to be close to their kids. Like they want to be taken care of in the future. Can you blame them? I mean, who wants to like send their kids away, buy in a different province, and then stay where they're living? They're okay. They can stay where they are and they could live there a long time. But it's kind of exciting. I mean, when you get older, having novelty and things that are exciting to look forward to, especially in those years, is a really good thing. And so making this change for them and having their kids change is pretty exciting for them and to make that change as well.
But it comes down to the lifestyle. I mean, you know, the disparity or the ratio between the prices of houses in the GTA and salaries.
Yeah.
It's just so far apart.
Yeah.
You know, whereas, you know, the house pricing has gone up significantly, as everybody's aware, in the last 10 to 15 years, but the salaries have not kept up pace to that.
No.
So how do you have a young person try to get into that marketplace?
Yeah.
I mean, if the kids all move to Alberta, and then we're likely going to follow.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And
So
so
we've got to take care of us when we get older.
So in saying that, like, does that kind of ring true in terms of like affordability for you? It's not that big of a problem. Like prices of groceries can go up and go down and they'll do their thing and whatever. But like day-to-day living, because you've been able to downsize, find something, it's still appreciated. So there's still some more equity that's kind of created that way. It's allowed you to kind of say, I can afford this. It's not a big issue. Is that fair?
It's our stage,
Yeah.
you know, stage of our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With so many people making the change to Calgary, I flipped it on them and I said, what is the thing that you are most afraid of? The thing that just you cringe about when you think of making this change and that makes you feel so uncomfortable? Can you guess what it is?
Cold.
The winter. Yeah, the winter. Yeah.
So what about the winter makes you nervous?
It just seems to be an extended winter compared to what we're used to here, obviously. I mean, it starts early and it ends late.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, when we were there in April when Justin was moving in, I mean, the day we got there, it was sunny, it was warm, we got everything into the house. The next day, there was snow on the ground.
Yeah.
And I was like, whew, thank goodness we got that done in time.
I was shocked. This didn't just happen once, didn't happen twice. It happened every single time I brought up this question to those that are living in the GTA about what they're afraid of. I ended up meeting up with a subscriber. I know, I was quite surprised that I had subscribers that wanted to meet, but thank you, Ethan, for showing up. I met up with you and you showed up and we actually had a great conversation that I want you to hear that is talking about this exact thing. Everyone I've talked to who's made the move has realized that it's not a big issue once they're living there.
And actually, because I was thinking the same, you know, until like I can say 6 months ago,
Yep.
I was thinking, yeah, that place is cold, and I'll just bear with it because everything else is good.
Yeah.
And then I started hearing from people who moved mostly they're like, no, here, when it's -10 here, it's like 0 degrees in Toronto. Like,
Right.
so because of the humidity and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, another problem is out of the window. So
That's
I was like, yeah, that's good as well. I just know that Alberta has a little bit more snow, I think, compared to here, but everything else is good. Yeah,
It's true.
the winter is a little more easier, at least. Let's say even when you compare it to cities a little away from the water, like where I'm living right now, Kleinburg,
Okay.
you just have the wind, but you don't have the exact high humidity like here right now.
It's a little different.
So a little bit different, but not much difference.
Okay.
So there is still -10 difference in fuel.
The other question that I got a lot was, when we make the change, we make the move, we want to feel like we're close to like the busyness. We want to feel energy. We want to be close to coffee shops. We want to be close to things that are happening, nightlife, all that kind of stuff. And what's really interesting about Calgary is very similar to Mississauga. There is a airport in the northeast part of it. There is 3 Costco's. There is a lot of parks, and there's a lot of people. So Mississauga has about 800,000 people or so. Calgary has about 1.2. So Calgary is bigger, but it's a lot larger in size than what Mississauga is. So when Emily mentioned that Calgary feels like it's built around nature, this is what she means. Mississauga has 292 square kilometers of green space, where Calgary has 825 square kilometers of green space. That is 3 times the parkland space than what Mississauga has. So those of you in the GTA or know what Mississauga is, imagine what Mississauga is, but imagine a lot more trees. Mississauga has 10% of its total land as parkland space, which is about 29 square kilometers. Calgary has 11% of its total land as parkland space, which is actually 93 square kilometers. What is incredible about Calgary right now, and this trend has been changing over the last probably 10 years, 5 to 10 years, is every quadrant that you go, for the most part, you are going to start finding local shops. So here we are. They're shutting down right now, but we are in DeVille's in Willow Park, which is in southeast part of Calgary. And you are starting to find these locally started businesses that are starting to franchise out and move into all the different quadrants of the city. And so truly, no matter where you live, you are gonna find these these great coffee shops. You're gonna find restaurants. You're gonna find places to just hang out, to be places like Seton, like University District. You're gonna go up north. You're gonna go down south. You're gonna find these places and actually feel like a lot of these local shops are close to you. And this is very different than the GTA. And I have to say this from my own experience, because we even just tried to find coffee shops, and you'd had to be like, all right, well, that one's 20 minutes away. And that was 20 minutes on the phone. It could easily turn into half an hour, 40 minutes. And no matter where you went, it was traffic. It was busy. I mean, I almost got hit by walking into a Starbucks because we ordered early and the lineup was down the street. It was shocking, right? And this is what people feel, experience, and live like in the GTA. And that's not what you find in Calgary. Now, I know that moving to Calgary isn't necessarily the option for many of you that are watching, or even some of you, but it could be an option, and it's something you might want to consider. I know that leaving family, uprooting everything can be a big change, but sometimes chasing down affordability and a lifestyle that you're excited about can be worth it. Now, for those of you that are saying, I just don't want to move, I am staying, and that's okay. I think what I've learned from this trip is if you want to make a change and you need to do it and you're not willing to move a far distance, you are gonna have to figure out house hacking. You're gonna have to figure out to have a way to have more income coming in so you can try to figure out that affordability. And that's okay. Do that, explore that, Google house hacking and talk to your friends, because you guys all talk about it. It's not something we talk about here that much, but you can do that. You can figure that out. But what I learned most from this trip is that we are all the same. The thing is, being born and raised in Calgary for a long time, and I don't know what this is, but we have felt from other parts of our country that we are, how do you say it? We are the dirty oil brother. And I have talked to people who were shocked when they came here that we weren't this like abandoned ghost town from the oil days and the boom and the busts and nothing's going on. That is further from the truth. And what I'm so excited about the future is that this last number of years have opened up doors, opened up opportunities, not only for you, but for us. Because we get to see, we get to experience, and we get to grow with those of you that are making the change here, and that makes me excited.
Affordability is an interesting word to use when talking about Toronto real estate,
Right.
because generally it's not. I mean, it's a lot of people are stretched to do it. However, what was a fear that if you get out of the market, you're never going to be able to get back in?
Totally.
And I think, again, right or wrong, that's something that has developed over the last 10 years.
Let's say in 2 years, marriage, school's done, this done, that's done, and you're looking at your family future.
Yeah.
Is it something that you guys would talk about?
Oh, most definitely. We've had that conversation. But it's just all these other factors coming in, like her parents and obviously like my parents. But it's something we'd have to discuss more, and especially when we're closer to that point where we want to make that final move and make that final decision.
Yeah, but
Well, that's like where Calgary really gets to give people the opportunity to fulfill this fetishization of homeownership that we have in Canada.
For sure.
To be honest with you, like I mean, it's like, do you want to live in Toronto and be part of the world-class city that it's becoming, or do you want the Canadian dream of homeownership? And I think that it seems to be kind of split down the center of what people want.
I just find it a very fresh, clean area to be.
Yeah.
It's, it's like huge skies, it seems.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why moving to Calgary makes so much sense.
yeah.
Because everything is still close, and you get good bang for your buck.
If you ever want to help making the change to Calgary, we want to be interviewed. Interview our team. We know what we're doing, we know how to help, and we want to help you make that change. If you want to continue the conversation and talk about making this change, head over to this video here. This is talking about making the move, a guide to moving to Calgary, and we will see you over there.